Today on This Old House, our homeowner Megan is keeping some of the design work in the family. Her mother Fran has taken on the artistic task of making them a very special outdoor dining table.
This is all stained glass. The design is a koi pond.
Okay.
We have a small solution to a big challenge in remodeling HVAC.
Hey there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to This Old House here in Concord, Massachusetts, where you can see the framers have taken over. They've started to put our roofs up. Now this is the great room, which is right off of the kitchen, which starts at the front of the house, and then it works its way back here. So there's a big wall of glass looking to the backyard. There's a big wall of glass looking over here to the side yard, and check out the roof lines, right? So this big one is pitched this way, then we've got another one back there pitched up this way, and then we've got this little sort of dormer one right here. Well, you know what? It looks better from upstairs. Come on. All right, so you can see the front of the house behind me, and you can see where the old house meets the new. That's the chimney, that's the point right there. Here's this dormer, which they actually call a Beverly jog, laying down onto this roof. And then we've got a big chunk of the addition going all the way back there. Primary bedroom, it's dormers letting in a ton of light, and to let in more light, there will be 3 skylights going in right here, here, and here to light up that hallway down below. Let me show you. And this is sort of what the roof line looks like from the inside. You can see an opening here, or it's going to be an opening for the first skylight. That'll be over a staircase up and down. Another skylight's going to go right here. This is a laundry room area, and then Tommy, a third skylight in what's going to be a closet and a new unit, which I've never seen before.
Well, it's actually a new unit to me also. I haven't installed one of these at all because it's the first time we've had it, but it's going to be exciting. It's got some great features. Do you want to give me a hand on installing it?
Sure.
All right, first thing we need to do is get up on the roof after we get our harnesses on, cut the hole and get this up there.
All right, got a harness for me?
Yep, right over here.
All right, you're clipped in, Pops. Of all the roof lines we got on this house, you picked the steepest one to work on.
This is a 10 pitch, which is pretty steep. 12 would be 45, so this is close to it. All right, so you can see our pencil lines here. I want to darken it up, so we'll go over with a chalk line.
So this has been pre-measured.
Right there, see it right there?
Got it.
Snap that one. Got it?
Good.
Okay, now we'll go up the sides. All right, so I'm going to cut the bottom one first, and I want to set the saw at the roof pitch. So I put the blade all the way up, set the plate on the roof, and I just eyeball it down to make it plumb. And just lock the height in here, lock the angle. And now I'll just plunge it in, make my bottom cut. Okay, the rest of the cuts, bring the saw back to square and make the cuts. Okay, so before I cut any further, I want to take this block. I'm going to extend the corners out over the roof, put a couple of screws in it. That way when we make our cut, the piece won't fall through. In case anybody's down there, they won't get hurt. All right, so now we can cut it. All right, see if it'll come out. There you go. Perfect. All right, you ready? On 3, we're going to pick it up, slide it up to the line. Okay, good. All right, so now we go inside and we'll see if we have to move it. I'll take a couple of measurements. I'll check it with my square. Hold it flat against the framing and up. That's perfect. That's good. And that's good there. All right, everything checked inside, so it's right where it's supposed to be. Now we'll just screw it off and fill all the holes. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna soft flash it with this flexible flashing right here. It's a tape. All right, pull it out easy. All right, so yep. So our first line against the weather, which is our beginning flashing right there, is done. The step flashing, which is the metal flashing, and the counter flashing that will go above that, will happen when the roofers install it. It starts at the bottom when they bring the shingles up so high, that gets covered with the flashing, and then as the shingles go by the skylight, each piece of metal, roof, metal, roof, metal, roof is covered. Then the roof comes across the top, and then that's covered again with shingles, so it'll be nice and dry inside.
Wait a second, Tommy. Did you just push a button?
Yeah. It
mackerel.
opened right up. See, it's coming up.
So it's not tilting. The whole
Nope.
thing is coming up off the frame.
That's right. So you're going to get a tremendous amount of draw from the airflow all the time. And you notice what comes up the sides?
A retractable screen.
Yep.
So instead of having the whole glass covered with a screen,
right, you don't even see the screen from inside.
open or closed.
Open or closed. And the nice thing is if you have light rain or if it's raining and you're not home, it's not going to get in the skylight. But I can close it with a button. And there's a gasket system right around the perimeter. So when that pulls down and it goes tight against the gasket, you're not going to feel any drafts coming off of the skylight.
That's awesome. I love it.
Now the other thing that's pretty cool is if I push this button right here, see that? We get a light at the bottom and the top.
So it's like an overhead light for whatever room it's in.
That's right, exactly. And it's also dimmable. So if you want to lower the light, you can lower it. And if you wanted to shut it off completely, obviously you can shut it off.
That's awesome. So confirmed, I have never seen anything like this before.
This is the first time for me putting this type of unit in.
And it's going to look great when all 5 are in. Nice.
I agree. All right, let's get out of here.
Handling our HVAC is James Bouchard. Hello, my friend.
Hey, Rich, how are you?
Good. Why don't you take us through the basics of a mini duct system?
Sure. So the mini duct system utilizes 7-inch or equivalent pipe, and it's a high-pressure, high-velocity system that moves a large volume of air through high pressure. And you can fit these ducts pretty much anywhere you need. Perfect example, we can fit it inside of a stud wall, in the joists.
So that could be the
everywhere.
entire supply for this upstairs here,
Exactly, yep.
versus the conventional.
Right, and the thing is, though, is they've made some improvements in the equipment, but it really comes down to a proper install to make this really a quiet system.
That's
Exactly.
what James does so well.
And that's where the sound attenuators come in place. So these sound attenuators have a spun woven cloth inside, and this is what keeps the system nice and quiet and imperative for a proper installation.
And a conventional system works by diffuse and throw, right? It lets the air fall in gently into the room, and then so if it's hot air, and the cool air will drop. But this system is aspiration, right?
Exactly, and the aspiration is nice because it's basically, you get a stream of air that comes down and it'll mix through the entire room. So floor to ceiling, side by side, everywhere, you're gonna have equal distribution throughout the entire room.
Right.
And on top of that, you don't need a return in every single room. You can use one
Amen.
return for the entire system.
Awesome.
And that saves us a lot of work on our end, too.
Not having to box everything in.
Exactly.
All right, so we ready to get rolling?
Yep, let's get it done.
All right, let's start in the closet downstairs. All right, so you can see our oval is now up here from the basement. What we're going to do is actually transition from oval back to round, and that'll allow us to come over here with 7-inch round, tie it into the T. And when we do that, we've fundamentally provided the spine to the system, the main supply. Now we just have to drill in the takeoffs. Now these sound attenuators are insulated, but the inside connection is only about 2 inches, and it makes to these takeoffs right here. So just show that. That's why we drill a 2-inch hole. So you're good to go, Mike?
Good to go.
Good. So we need to get our first attenuator from the starting point right here, through this old roof, over this LVL, and run it out to the outside wall right here. So now we're just going to cut away some of that old roof. All right, so here's our first of 10 attenuators in this floor. Now they're going to be left up in the ceiling. We'll cut a hole, but at finish, it's just a finish plate like this, clips into here, and that's what the look is. The rules are pretty simple for the placing these things. They can come out of the ceiling, they can come out of the floor, they can come out of the high sidewall. They just can't blow on people. All right, so we're perfect. So 1 down, 9 to go. Let's keep moving.
Yep, let's get it done.
Our homeowner Megan is keeping some of the design work in the family. Her mother Fran has taken on the artistic task of making them a very special outdoor dining table. Hey Fran.
Hey, Kevin.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Wow, look at this. What have you got going on here?
All right. Well, this is a stained glass mosaic, hopefully dining table.
Okay.
The design is a koi pond. Lots of lily pads,
Yep, I see
lots
those.
of fish. Fish are inspired by the glass that I could find. You know, clear glass with the orange and the white. Little dragonfly.
Oh yeah, everything in a koi pond. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to add another special guy on here. We're going to put a turtle on today.
How do we get a turtle?
We're going to make a turtle over here.
Your turtle table.
This is the turtle table.
All right, so how do you start?
Well, we start with a picture that we find that thinks might work with a piece.
That's the inspiration.
That's the inspiration.
Okay.
I take a copy of this. I put it on an art board.
Yep.
That's the art board.
Oh, sticky.
Sticky contact paper upside down.
Okay.
Okay, and so that holds the pieces of glass. As I cut them, I put them on there, push them down so that they stay. So I take a little piece of laminate sheet and I just trace the head like that. I have a pattern.
That becomes your head.
That's the pattern, which we're going to cut out and use to cut the glass.
So once you have the pattern and it's clear, am I guessing correctly that you then sort of take the pattern and put it on the glass
Right,
and say
We move it around.
blue
we say,
head, yellow head,
yeah,
orange head?
orange head.
I'm partial to orange heads.
I kind of like the orange.
Well,
That works for me.
okay. So
Okay.
then what?
So then what? So then we cut this guy out.
You have to have a red-headed turtle.
Okay. So we're gonna put the shape on the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And you like that one?
Sure.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna use the saw to cut it. So I have to use a silver marker so it doesn't wash away.
You can't go wrong with a redhead.
No, can't go wrong with a redhead. Okay, a little bit challenging to get that on there, but there we go. Okay,
And that's what we're going to end up cutting
that's
out?
what we're going to cut out.
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to cut the turtle's head on this ring saw, which is a special saw for cutting glass. It is a wet saw. It's a little baby wet saw.
Yep, little tiny blade.
Yep. We have a turtle's head. Okay, I've snipped off the neck where it was a little bit too long, and now there's some nicks in the side of the head that I just need to grind a little bit to smooth them out. Okay,
Fine looking orange head.
fine looking orange head.
Mm-hmm.
Pop that head on there.
Nice.
There he is.
Okay. Awesome. So how do we get that onto the table?
Okay, so to get this onto the table, I have to take it off the sticky.
Yep.
So I use stripping tape.
Oh, to the top. So this is going to keep all of our pieces.
This is going to keep all
In
the
the
pieces in the way we've laid them out.
Okay, so now it's a battle to
Okay,
see which
so
is
now-
stickier.
Well, exactly. So let's see if we can get him off.
Tape or
pick
the
him up.
contact?
There he goes.
There it is. Look at that. Every piece is in place.
Okay, so now we get to glue it on the table.
Okay.
We have glue, brush, so we put the glue down in the outline. Make sure we try to get everywhere. Okay, and then I'll use my glue brush to even that out. Because we don't want it all too much glue to push up between the pieces of glass. Okay. And we have our little turtle guy. Okay, well, we put him in his spot. Press him down. I leave him for about an hour.
Labor intensive. Okay. So maybe another couple reptiles or lily pads in
we
here.
could add a few other things.
But the bulk of it is the blue, is the water, right?
Exactly.
Oh, these aren't down yet. Can I pick one of these up?
They're not down. And this is what the sheet glass looks like.
So from there, same process,
Same process.
gluing and such.
Correct. Exactly the same.
All right.
Okay, and then the next step is going to be to grout the whole table. And after the grout cures, then we'll resin.
Resins.
Yep.
So pour in sort of a liquid.
It's going to be a 2-part epoxy.
Yep.
These are a couple of samples that I made just so I could, see how it was going to turn out. This was
yeah.
it's kind of neat. It's nice and smooth. That's how we end up with that.
So this is very involved. And now you're sort of in a race with Charlie, so you finish this first.
It's going to be me.
Okay. Well, I love it, Fran. Thank you for showing us, and I can't wait to see it when it's at the house.
Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate
Terrific.
it.
Now this is an old house built in the 1880s and originally had wooden gutters on it, and they're really charming. They were probably changed once or twice over the period, but I really like the look of them. But there was some problems. So what happened up there, Charlie?
Well, we first started with seeing what was rotted. We could see from the ground this one section was, after getting up here investigating it, I really had to come right to the corner with it.
Yeah.
But this one section really rotted the fascia board and a couple of rows of clapboards and a little bit of the corner board. So
Yeah.
I had to take that apart, and luckily after getting into it, the sheathing did not get affected. Another year or two, we would have been into that structurally.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so this is a section of the gutter that was up there right here. This is an old gutter, probably 15, 20 years old, but look at the condition of the wood, how solid it is in the center. It's the miters that failed. But I can also tell you that these gutters weren't maintained. When you clean the gutters annually, you should also oil them, and that keeps the wood nice and fresh and less chance of it cracking to make it last. But another reason why they rotted is, I look at these corners right here. Now, the corner would be right here in front where Charlie was working. So now look at this miter right here. This is the return piece where Charlie replaced that fascia board up there. This all rotted away, and you can see the joint is really bad and the back of the gutter's all gone, all because it wasn't prepped and sealed and flashed correctly. All right, now I know, because I can tell by this corner right here, when the gutter was installed, it wasn't prepped correctly. All right, I can see that they put a mastic or a tar right on top of this joint without prepping this joint correctly and sealing the inside of the miter to keep water from going in there also. So we bought some new wooden gutters, and we're going to show you how to do those joints correctly so they won't rot. All right, this is the end of the original gutter that goes across the front of the house. So what I want to do is I want to clean off any old mastic or glue or caulking, whatever's on there. Got to get all this off the miter, face of the miter here.
Are you here for a rough length up there?
87. All right, let's do a dry fit here. Put a spacer block on because we're gonna need those. Get this up. All right, come up with it, up.
Want to tap it?
All right, so I gotta take a little bit. Oh, that's pretty good. You high? You're all right. You're all right.
Good.
There. Yeah. All right, that's pretty good. I gotta take just a little bit off the bottom this way to get the front to come together. Okay, good. Got your block, right?
I do.
That looks pretty good. Yep, that's good.
All right, let me mark
All
this
right,
in.
mark your length.
Got it?
Okay, good. Now we can cut that miter. All right, all of our pieces to the gutter is cut to size and fit. And now, before we're going to put it together, we're going to actually install a flashing in each corner. The flashing is going to be a strip of lead, and it's going to follow the contour of the gutter just like that. But if you notice, the lead sticks up, and that would actually stop the water from going by or cause some resistance. So what we want to do is we want to recess it down into the gutter just a little bit so the water flows right by. All right, we removed material in both of the corners and all of the corners to accept some sealant, but we also want to make sure we seal the end grain here and here so water doesn't get into it. So let's run a good bead of caulking on that. That's good, that's good. I'm going to thin it out a little bit with my finger. I'm going to force it right into that grain. That's good. So now I'm just going to push it right into the grain. That way air can't get into the miter. Now I'm going to push it tight to the other side. Work it around, seal up that joint, seal up that end grain on both sides. All right, so now I want to push this in tight. I want to hold it even, but I'm going to get a screw started. I'm going to put a screw right here. I'm going to get it started. Okay, you got it even? Yep. Here it goes, going in.
Snug it up.
All right, that's nice and tight. Let that set up for a minute. We'll sand it off, make it smooth.
This is all paintable too.
Yep. So now we're going to put like a tripolymeric caulking in here and seal all this wood. That looks good. That's not going to leak anymore. That's
Not
for
anymore.
Sure. I'm Tom Silva
And I'm Charlie Silva.
for This Old House.
Next time on This Old House.
This old house is following the restoration of an historic school building in Drake, Massachusetts. They are restoring the old schoolhouse and turning it into 9 affordable housing units for veterans. And part of the work includes the windows.
The windows go in here anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple hours.
And here in the garage, we're going to turn a concrete slab from a liability to an asset.